Welcome to Resetting for the Year Anytime. We are so happy you are here. Let's get started figuring out how to reset for the rest of the school year. You have access to both this recording and the companion participant handout. When you open your handout, it will ask you to make a copy. I am Melissa Trask.
Hi, I'm Tracy Edwards.
Take a moment to read this quote by Harry Wong and consider what stands out to you. We are going to focus on resetting your rules, consequences, and your procedures. This is a nice way for you to reset by covering each of these areas. Please know, though, to follow expectations in place at your schools.
Okay, so let's jump into rules. This is a great place to start when determining how to best reset for the rest of the year. Two things to remember. Rules ensure your students abide by certain expectations, and of course, they have consequences. Review these two questions, and I want you to consider what could be seen or heard in your classroom. Pause the video for just a second and take a couple of minutes to respond in your packet to these two questions. So, might you need to modify your rules? Are you abiding by these simple guidelines? Rules should be without question or misunderstanding. Are your students sure of exactly what the rules are? Clarity is especially important here. Notice these points. A few additional things to remember. Enforceable is especially important here. Never, ever tell the kids you're going to do something that you do not have the power to do. For example, an all-time favorite. I'm going to send you home, right? I'm going to make sure you don't come back to class for doing that. Unfortunately, you don't have the power to do that. When a kid comes back into your room after doing whatever the behavior was and did not receive punishment that you promised, it then minimizes your position of authority. So make sure that before you come up with any consequence, make sure that you can actually enforce it. All true. All of these are true, and none of them are funny, but they will test the rules. They will violate them when others are doing so and you're not enforcing them. And they observe that teachers do not always mean what they say. So go ahead and just take a second now to put some time on your calendar to work on resetting these rules.
Let's talk about consequences. Really good rules require consequences. If you do not follow through with consequences when a rule is broken, you are essentially telling your students they do not have to follow the rules because you're not following through. Two things, important but not easy. You must be consistent when issuing consequences. You cannot provide a consequence for student A, Tracy over there, breaking the rule, but give student B, Melissa, a pass. And if you say it, you have to do it. Review these two questions. Consider what could be seen or heard in your classroom. Pause the video now and take a couple of minutes to respond in your packet. Some ideas to consider. You want to remember to show disappointment at the behavior, not the child. You can consider canceling privileges and consider separating from the group. Here are some more ideas. You can ask students to write about the problem. Writing is a really great way that students can express themselves when words may be challenging for them to use. You can consider timeout, detention, use of referrals, but again, those would all be in accordance with your school behavior plan. Involving parents is the key to building the relationship among the student, parents, and teacher. And of course, please ask for help when you need it. We want you to notice the number. You want to keep them as brief as possible and always allow an opportunity for a student to modify their behavior unless it is dangerous. Now is the time to go ahead and place work time for your rules on your calendar and for your consequences.
Okay, so let's move on now to procedures and how they may play a part in your resetting for the rest of the year. With the right procedures effectively taught, modeled, and practiced, you'll have fewer rules being broken, therefore more time to teach. Procedures are the how you do something. Review these two questions. Consider what might be seen or heard in your classroom. Pause the video now and take a couple of minutes to respond to these questions in your packet. Your procedures should have steps, and those steps should be numbered. Never consequence a student when they do not follow a procedure. It takes time and practice. Be proactive. So let's quickly talk about the steps for ensuring you're teaching your procedures correctly. You have a lesson plan in your packet that will help you proactively teach this process. So look at this teach, model, and practice. This comes out of the Harry Wong book that was mentioned earlier, the quote. If done correctly, procedures should become routine in time. So think of this just like you would teach a lesson plan. This is the I do, the we do, and the you do part of that lesson plan, and it's critical in ensuring that you're teaching your procedures effectively. So I want you to go ahead now and place some additional time on your calendar to work on procedures and resetting them.
And we know that you want to use it so you don't lose it. So let's take a quick moment for everyone to identify one thing from today, from this session, that you will adjust or modify in order to reset for your upcoming second semester. Take a minute to think and hold on to that. We also wanted to share some resources with you. They are located in your participant handout, and we hope this has been helpful. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.